My next movie review is the movie Prisoners, starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, and more. There's a ton of people in this movie. I think I'm going to say a lot more about this movie because I was very affected by it. I really thought it was great. It's been out for a long time now, and Hugh Jackman has got to get an Oscar nomination for this movie. He's so much better in this movie than in, like, Les Mis. I didn't like Les Mis. I mean, he was good in Les Mis, but if he got a nomination for that, he should get a nomination for this. He is so good in this movie. There are moments in it where he almost goes into, like, an action sort of movie type of behaviors. Like, he's so, he's Wolverine, right? So he's always, like, a badass. And when he's attacking... Well, I should go into what it's about first. So, the movie is about these two families that are close. I think they're, like, neighbors, or they're just good friends. A black family and a white family. And, that has nothing to do with anything in the storyline. It's just, that's how it is. And, they have two young daughters. They're celebrating Thanksgiving. I think it's Thanksgiving they're celebrating. It's not Christmas. It's Thanksgiving they're celebrating. And the two girls go missing. That's not a spoiler. That's kind of basically how the whole story starts off. And you can see my t-shirt, by the way. It's a Disney shirt. Anyways, so the two girls get kidnapped by someone. They do not know who it is. The whole movie is sort of trying to figure out what happened with the girls and where they are, who took them. So, to make a long story short, there is a guy who acts very suspicious, and they see him sort of on the scene. Paul Dano plays him. He's also in 12 Years a Slave, and he plays a completely different character in that. So I'm like, wow, this guy might get an Oscar nom. Because he's in two really amazing, roles that he's played, but I don't know which one they would give it to him for. I feel like this movie he's better in. Because he plays sort of a mentally challenged person in a way. Like, I'm not sure what he has. If he has Asperger's, or if he's, like, some kind of, like, mental handicap, or social anxiety, or I don't know what he has, but it's also because, like, you find out later some bad stuff has happened to him. I won't go too much into the spoilers, but the ending is incredible and kind of shocking and crazy. I have to see this movie. I think I might buy it on DVD. Like, it's that good. So I'll give it a 5. But the performances are great. Especially Hugh Jackman. Jake Gyllenhaal does a great job. I feel like this year is so locked for all the performances. Like, it's so tight for an Oscar race. Like, they can nominate like 10 people or something for each category. For female, for male, for best actor, for best supporting. Like, he may or may not get a nom for this, but I think Hugh Jackman will. And, the main characters are, like, the wife, what's her name? She's a famous actress, too. I'm usually good with the names. She's blonde. She plays his wife, and she goes into, like, being an alcoholic and sort of, I don't really like how she handles it, but some people do handle grief that way, so, that was believable. I think the way they all handled the roles they played was great. Even though I just didn't like how she handled it, it was still acted well. Viola Davis and her husband what's his name now? I'm forgetting his name too, and I know him pretty well from other movies. God, I'm so bad at this today. I've been doing too many reviews. Well, anyway, they both, Terrence Howard, that's his name. There you go. Terrence Howard and Viola Davis end up joining Hugh Jackman in his pursuit of the guy he thinks killed or, kidnapped the girls. And it's very, like, uncomfortable. He does some torture. He does, like, this is spoilers, okay? I'm not giving full stuff away, but I'm giving minor things away here. He tortures this guy he thinks did this. And you're sort of like, well, you haven't proven that he did it. My hair is bothering me. He hasn't, like, you're wondering, is this guy innocent? Is he guilty? And he acts really suspicious and weird. So then sometimes you're like, okay, beat his ass. And then other times you're like, oh my god, stop, you're killing this guy, and he might not have even done this. And then later, okay, spoilers. This guy didn't do it. And so now, when I see it again, I'll be so upset seeing this guy get tortured by Hugh Jackman. But he plays such a great father figure that's, desperate to find his child, and, it's a great performance. Probably his best one I've seen. So he deserves it, but then he's up against some amazing actors, like, I don't know who's gonna take it. There's so many people who deserve to win this year. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal, back to him, he plays the cop that's on the case, and, he also is trying to find out what's going on, and he ends up finding out other suspects, and then there's a lot of other things going on where this other suspect has this crazy house with, like, all these mazes and, like a thing, suitcases full of snakes and children's clothing, and then you're like, oh my god, this guy did this. And the ending, it's somebody totally unexpected, to me it was unexpected. And I feel like they might do a second one, because I won't give this part away, but something happens where somebody else sort of gets kidnapped, and nobody knows where he is. So, it's definitely an incredible movie. I would put my top 5 in my top 5 movies of the year. So, Prisoners, The Butler, 12 Years a Slave, Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and one more. I'm leaving that spot open because I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club. I haven't seen some of the other movies that are coming out, the Disney biopic on Walt Disney, and American Hustle, which I don't know if that'll win. It feels like it's more like a trendy sort of hip movie, like, I don't know. Don't know if it has that serious thing that the Academy likes. But who knows? It's got a lot of their favorite people in it, so I would definitely recommend, if you want to see Prisoners. It's still out and in most theaters, so definitely give it a 4 out of 5. And it's very emotional and very, very intense.